Hi and welcome back. I hope you had a lot of fun looking at the world of microorganisms. Well, I sure did. Every time I look at things under the microscope, it just blows my mind. Well, anyways, now that we have seen the world of microorganisms for ourselves and we know that microorganisms do exist all around us, we should start learning a little bit more about them. But how do we really do that? There are so many different types of microorganisms that if we try to learn about each one of them, it will just take forever. Well, what do we do then? One good way to do this is try to group these microorganisms based on their properties and behaviors and create few groups and learn about one group as a whole. When we do that, we can learn about all the microorganisms in that group in a very short time. So naturally, your question would be, what properties or behaviors of these microorganisms do we use to group them? Well, that's a very good question. But before we go into that, let me take a step back and ask you one question. Now, do you know what is the basic building block of all living organisms? Well, it's actually called a cell. All living organisms, be it like this humongous blue whale or the tiny creatures like ants or even these microorganisms, all of them are made up of cells. Now, this cell is so small that average human like me actually is made up of trillions of cells. Do you know how large that is? Well, if you put all the cells in an average human in one line, okay, do you know how long will that go? Actually, it will go so long that it will go around the earth not just once, twice or thrice, but 19 times. Isn't that amazing? All that many cells fit in one human. But what is actually a cell? Well, you will learn a lot about what a cell is and what it does in chapter number 8. But here I just want to briefly talk to you about few things that will help us in categorizing these microorganisms later. Now, let's take a look at a typical human cell. Let's say a skin cell, right? It consists of this outer membrane which protects everything that is inside the cell. Second, it consists of these organs that perform various functions inside the cell. And finally, there is this core component, also called kernel or nucleus, that holds the main part of the cell, which is the DNA. The DNA, as you probably already know, is the blueprint of life. It is the one that guides these organs in performing these functions. Now, in addition to human cell, let's take a look at one of the plant cells. Now, if you look at these two, actually they are very similar. Both of them have the cell membrane, the organs and the nucleus. The difference between plant and human or any animal cell is actually plant cells have this additional cell wall around their membrane. Now, this is what gives plants their rough texture, like when you touch them, you will feel rough. Another use of that is protection. Because plants can't really move, like us, they can't take shelter when there is bad weather, too much storm or too much sun. So this cell wall actually help protect against this bad weather. Now you must be asking, hey, why are we talking about cells? Well, I mentioned this before. Just like us, actually all these microorganisms are also made of cells. But these microorganisms, at least some of them, are so small that unlike us, which are made up of trillions of cells, the microorganisms is probably made of just one. Isn't that amazing to just think about one tiny cell? Now, because of this, if we just study the structure and the properties of the cell, it will give us a very good idea about the whole microorganism. And actually, because of that same reason, we use these properties of the cell to group these microorganisms in different groups. So in the next video, we are going to look at how these characteristics of the cell help us learn about all of these different microorganisms.